In the harsh and unforgiving landscape of the American frontier, where survival often meant the difference between seeing another sunrise or becoming just another forgotten grave on the prairie, there existed stories of hardship that would break the strongest of hearts. This is one such story, a tale of desperation, compassion, and the unexpected bonds that form when humanity shines through the darkest of circumstances. It begins with a widow, worn down by life's cruelties, and a cowboy who would discover that sometimes the most profound moments arrive unannounced, changing everything we thought we knew about the world and our place within it. Sarah Mitchell had known better days. Once the wife of a hard-working ranch hand, she had experienced the simple joys of a modest but stable life. Her husband, Thomas, had been a good man, the kind who worked from sunrise to sunset without complaint, who saved every spare penny for their future, and who spoke of dreams that seemed achievable with enough dedication and sweat. They had plans, dreams of owning a small piece of land, of building a life that their children and grandchildren might inherit. But fate, as it often does on the frontier, had other plans. A riding accident during a cattle drive had taken Thomas from her in an instant, leaving Sarah alone with nothing but memories and mounting debts that his wages had barely kept at bay. The months following Thomas's death had been a relentless descent into poverty. Without her husband's income, Sarah found herself unable to pay rent on the small cabin they had called home. The ranch owner, though sympathetic, was running a business, not a charity, and needed the space for another working hand. Sarah had packed her meager belongings and set out to find work, any work that might keep her fed and sheltered. But employment for a widow on the frontier was scarce and often demeaning. She had tried taking in laundry, but there were too many other women desperate for the same work. She had attempted to find positions as a housekeeper, but most families wanted younger women, or worse, made advances that forced her to flee in the middle of the night with her dignity barely intact. By the time Sarah arrived at the Henderson Ranch, she was gaunt, her clothes hanging loose on her frame, her eyes carrying the hollow look of someone who had stared hunger in the face too many times. She had heard through the sparse frontier grapevine that rancher Jack Henderson was looking for someone to clean out his barn, a job that most considered beneath them, but to Sarah, it represented hope. She had walked 15 miles in the scorching sun to reach his property, her worn boots raising dust with each weary step, her lips cracked and bleeding from dehydration. When she finally stood before the ranch house, she had to steady herself against a fence post to keep from collapsing. Jack Henderson was a man shaped by the frontier. Tall and weathered, with hands calloused from years of roping cattle and mending fences. He had built his ranch from nothing through sheer determination and back-breaking labor. He was a widower himself, though his loss was more recent, his wife having succumbed to fever just 8 months prior, leaving him alone to raise their 5-year-old daughter, Emma. Jack had tried to maintain both the ranch and proper care for his daughter, but the demands were impossible for one man. Emma had become quiet and withdrawn since her mother's death, spending hours sitting silently, staring at nothing, barely eating, barely speaking. It broke Jack's heart, but he didn't know how to reach her through her grief while managing a ranch that employed 6 men and sustained hundreds of cattle. When Sarah presented herself for the barn cleaning job, Jack had initially hesitated. She looked too frail, too worn down to handle the heavy work of mucking stalls and hauling equipment. But something in her eyes, a quiet dignity despite her obvious desperation, had moved him. Perhaps it was because he recognized the look of profound loss, having seen it in his own mirror every morning. He had agreed to hire her for 3 days of work, offering her meals and a place to sleep in the cleaned section of the barn once she had made it habitable. The pay would be modest, just enough for her to perhaps move on to the next town with a few coins in her pocket, but to Sarah, it was everything. Sarah had worked with a determination that surprised Jack. Despite her weakened state, she had attacked the years of accumulated dirt and neglect in that barn with fierce resolve. She rose before dawn and worked until darkness fell, pausing only when Jack insisted she come to the house for meals. She organized tools, swept floors, cleaned stalls, and brought order to chaos. But more than the physical labor, Sarah brought something else to the Henderson Ranch, something that had been missing since Jack's wife had died. She brought a gentle maternal presence that seemed to seep into the very air of the place. On the second evening of her employment, after another long day of back-breaking work, Sarah had been resting in the corner of the barn she had transformed into a clean, almost cozy space. She had swept it thoroughly, laid down fresh hay covered with a clean blanket Jack had provided, and created a small area where she could sleep without the dust and filth that had previously dominated the structure. She was exhausted, every muscle aching, but there was a satisfaction in honest work, in earning her keep rather than begging for charity. She had just closed her eyes, trying to find sleep despite her empty stomach growling with a hunger that the modest meals couldn't quite satisfy, when she heard the softest sound, like a small animal trying not to be noticed. In the dim light of the barn, illuminated only by moonlight streaming through gaps in the wooden walls, Sarah had seen her. Little Emma Henderson stood in the doorway, wearing a thin nightgown despite the evening chill, her blonde hair tangled and her feet bare. The child looked like a ghost, pale and insubstantial, as if she might disappear if Sarah blinked. For a long moment, they simply stared at each other, woman and child, both carrying grief too heavy for their frames. Then Emma had moved forward, not with the energy of a normal 5-year-old, but with the slow, uncertain steps of someone walking through a dream. Sarah had sat up, instinctively opening her arms in the universal gesture of maternal comfort. She hadn't thought about it, hadn't calculated whether it was appropriate or welcome. It was simply a response born from some deep place within her, the same place that still ached for the children she and Thomas had never had the chance to have. Emma had moved into those arms without hesitation, as if she had been waiting for this invitation for months. The little girl had curled against Sarah's chest, and within moments, both had been crying, tears flowing for all the losses they had endured, for all the loneliness and pain that had become their constant companions. Sarah had held Emma through that first night, rocking her gently, humming songs her own mother had sung to her decades ago. She hadn't known all the words, but the melody seemed to comfort the child, who eventually fell into the first peaceful sleep she had experienced since her mother's death. Sarah had stroked Emma's hair, marveling at its softness, at the weight of the small body against her own. In that moment, both their hungers had been fed, though not with food. The child had found the maternal comfort she desperately needed, and Sarah had found purpose, a reason to live beyond mere survival. Night after night, the pattern had repeated itself. After Jack put Emma to bed in the house, the child would wait until she heard his heavy footsteps retreat to his own room. Then she would slip out, careful and quiet, making her way to the barn where Sarah waited. It became their secret ritual, this nighttime reunion, where they would hold each other and share warmth and comfort in the darkness. Sarah would tell Emma stories, simple tales of her own childhood, of her life with Thomas, editing out the hardship and emphasizing the love and laughter. Emma would sometimes speak, brief sentences about her mother, about how she couldn't remember her voice anymore, about how scared she was that she would forget her completely. Sarah would listen, understanding that sometimes children need to voice their fears to someone who won't try to fix them or tell them everything will be fine. Someone who will simply acknowledge that yes, loss is real and terrible and it's alright to be sad. During the days, Sarah continued her work in the barn and around the ranch. Jack, impressed by her dedication and the transformation of his barn, had extended her employment indefinitely. She now helped with various tasks, from mending fences to preparing meals when the ranch cook was overwhelmed. She moved through her days with renewed energy, fueled not by food alone but by the sense that she mattered, that she had a reason to wake each morning. Jack noticed the change in her appearance. She still bore the marks of her hard life, but there was color in her cheeks now, a light in her eyes that spoke of hope rekindled. What Jack didn't notice, consumed as he was by the endless demands of running the ranch, was the change in his daughter. Emma had stopped the listless wandering through the house. She ate her meals with more enthusiasm. She even smiled occasionally, a sight that had become so rare Jack had almost forgotten the beauty of it. He attributed this improvement to time healing wounds, to the natural resilience of children, never suspecting that his daughter was finding comfort in the arms of the widow he had hired to clean his barn. The discovery came on a night when Jack had been kept awake by concerns about his cattle. Disease had struck a neighboring ranch, and he worried about his own herd. Unable to sleep, he had decided to walk the property, to check on things himself rather than trusting solely to his night riders. His path had taken him past the barn, and through the partially open door, he had seen a sight that stopped him in his tracks. There, in a pool of moonlight, lay Sarah Mitchell with his daughter Emma sleeping peacefully in her arms. Both looked utterly content, Sarah's face soft with maternal love, Emma's features relaxed in genuine rest. Jack's first reaction had been anger. This woman, this stranger he had hired out of pity, had been meeting secretly with his daughter. What right did she have to take Emma from her bed? What presumption allowed her to insert herself into his family's life in such an intimate way? He had stepped forward, ready to wake them both, to demand explanations and perhaps to send Sarah away immediately. But something had stopped him, perhaps the peace on Emma's face, an expression he hadn't seen since her mother's death. Or perhaps it was the way Sarah held his daughter, with such obvious love and protection, as if Emma was precious beyond measure. Jack had stood there in the darkness, watching them sleep, and slowly his anger had transformed into something else entirely. He began to see what had been invisible to him in his grief and busyness. His daughter had been drowning in sorrow, and this poor widow, herself barely surviving, had thrown her a lifeline. While he had been focused on keeping the ranch running, on maintaining the external structures of their life, Sarah had been tending to something far more important, the broken heart of his child. She had asked for nothing in return, had taken no advantage of the situation, had simply given Emma what she desperately needed because it was within her power to do so. The cowboy had returned to the house that night with a mind full of thoughts that kept sleep at bay until dawn. He thought about his wife, about how she would have wanted Emma to be cared for, to be comforted, to know love even in her absence. He thought about Sarah, about her quiet dignity, her strength in the face of devastating circumstances, her capacity to give even when she herself had so little. He thought about his own shortcomings as a father, about how he had been so focused on providing material security that he had failed to see his daughter's emotional starvation. By the time the sun rose, Jack Henderson had made a decision that would change all their lives. When Sarah emerged from the barn that morning, ready to begin another day of work, Jack had been waiting for her. She had frozen, fear flooding through her, certain that he had discovered her nighttime visits with Emma and was about to dismiss her. She had prepared herself to beg, to explain, to promise anything if only he would let her stay, not for the work but for the child who needed her. But the words Jack spoke were not the ones she had been dreading. He had asked her simply to walk with him, and they had made their way to a small hill overlooking the ranch where they could speak privately. Jack had told Sarah that he knew about the nights she spent with Emma, and he had seen the fear leap into her eyes. But he had quickly reassured her, telling her that he was not angry but grateful. He had spoken of his wife, of his grief, of his failures as a father in the months since her death. He had told Sarah that she had given his daughter a gift beyond price, and that he could never repay such a kindness. Then he had made his proposal, one that left Sarah speechless with shock. He asked her to stay permanently, not as a barn cleaner or a hired hand, but as a member of the household, as Emma's caretaker and perhaps, if she was willing, as something more in time. Sarah had not answered immediately. She had stood there on that hill, looking out over the ranch that had become her refuge, thinking about the little girl who had crept into her heart with such completeness. She had thought about Thomas, about the life they had planned together, about whether accepting this offer would be a betrayal of his memory or an honoring of the values he had held dear. Kindness, family, seizing chances for happiness when they appeared. In the end, she had said yes, not with the enthusiasm of someone who had won a prize, but with the quiet certainty of someone who had found where they belonged. The arrangement had begun formally, with Sarah moving into the house, taking a room near Emma's, being introduced to the ranch hands as the child's caretaker. But over time, something beautiful had developed, a new kind of family forged not from blood but from need and compassion and the courage to open wounded hearts to the possibility of love again. Emma had blossomed under Sarah's consistent care, becoming once more the bright, curious child she had been before tragedy struck. Jack had found in Sarah not just a caretaker for his daughter but a partner who understood loss and resilience, someone who had faced the worst the frontier could offer and had maintained her humanity through it all. Years later, when people asked how the Henderson family had come to be, the story would be told of how a poor widow had been hired just to clean a barn, of how a grieving child had sought comfort in the arms of a stranger, and how a cowboy had found them sleeping together and had seen not scandal but salvation. It was a story that reminded everyone who heard it that sometimes the most important work we do has nothing to do with cattle or crops or commerce, but with seeing the needs of others and responding with an open heart. In a land where survival often meant hardness, where showing vulnerability could be dangerous, the Hendersons had built something different, a home where love and second chances were more valuable than any amount of gold or land. And it had all begun with a desperate woman looking for work and a lonely child seeking comfort, meeting in a barn under the watchful eyes of fate and finding in each other exactly what they needed to survive and eventually to thrive.